So welcome back to another one, you guys. If you are new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Toyota in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. Today, we are in the brand new 2022 Toyota CHR because the design of this thing is unique. I personally absolutely love it. The exterior color of this thing is absolutely amazing, and there are so many little quirks about this that make it different from every other vehicle on the road. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. And so unlike last year where there was 4 different trim levels, the 2022 CHR now has only 2 trim levels. First one being the XLE starting at $24,130. Then there is the Nightshade Edition starting at $24,895. But regardless of trim level that you go with, the power plant on this little beast is going to be the same. Powering the CHR is a 2-liter naturally aspirated inline 4-cylinder, putting out 144 horsepower at 6,100 RPM, 139 pound-feet of torque coming in at 3,900 RPM. Power sent to the front wheels through a CVT. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 10.1 seconds, with MPG numbers coming in at 27 in the city, 31 on the highway, taking regular unleaded fuel. So now I've got all that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's do an acceleration test. Well, you can definitely tell it's a CVT. It's definitely on the slower side of things, but it felt all right. You shouldn't have any issues emerging onto the highway, but definitely not the quickest thing in the world. And of course, with it being a CVT, there wasn't any gear changes. And sometimes with CVTs, it simulates gear changes, but the CHR does not do that, in case anybody was curious about that as well. But to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. So up front, you will find 11.8-inch ventilated front discs. In the back, 11.1-inch solid rear discs. As far as that 60 to 0 stopping distance goes, it's actually going to come in at 122 feet, which actually is plenty fine. That's pretty much right on par for the course there. As far as the braking feel goes, wow, definitely on the firm side of things. I absolutely love it. The braking feel is wonderful in the CHR. It feels more along the lines of a sports car, and although that number is just average, like just about all the other vehicles out there, 122 feet, the braking feel is brilliant. It's not soft, there's no dead spots to the braking, so 100% definitely feeling the braking feel in this thing. But touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent McPherson strut front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension, front and rear stabilizer bars. As far as ride quality goes, it's actually been perfectly fine. I will say Hagerstown roads are pretty darn good, but having said that, still been perfectly fine in my short test drive here today. Definitely no issues there. As far as steering feel goes, it's pretty much average. Again, kind of like the braking feel. It's not too heavy, it's not too loose. It's pretty much as you would expect the CHR to feel. Certainly not a heavy feel, but definitely not a loosey-goosey one like you typically find in SUVs either. So I don't mind it. As far as cabin noise goes, you get a little bit of wind noise. The road noise isn't that bad, but you get a little bit of wind noise at higher speeds, I will say that. And it sounds like it's coming from the rear doors, if I'm being specific, but there is an acoustic laminated front windshield, so you're not gonna have any issues up front at least. But then touching on visibility, I actually can see 100% perfectly fine out the back. So most definitely not gonna have any issues there. But that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. So now go ahead and take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2022 Toyota CHR. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2022 Toyota CHR, finished in blue Eclipse metallic. Definitely love the exterior of this color, and I love it even more because they actually bring it onto the interior then as well, which we will get to a little bit later in the video. But for now, let's go ahead and start up front. First, I want to start with multi-reflector LED headlights do come standard on this thing, which is amazing because a lot of vehicles at this price range still come with halogen, so definitely a good thing there. And of course, they will come with the automatic feature, meaning when it starts to get dark at night, these headlights will turn on automatically for you there. LED daytime running lights also coming standard as well. And I did want to also mention, if you were to go with that Nightshade Edition, you will get plenty of black accents, not just on the front end, but really all around the side, the back, everywhere essentially. Otherwise, you're going to get a lot of matte black accents like we currently have on our XLE trim level. I don't think I told you guys that yet. We do have the XLE trim level here with us today, but pretty much rounds out the front end of this one. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the side of the CHR. All right, so now since we are around to the side of this one, black window surrounds will come standard. You do have that floating roof line towards the back, which is kind of where the rear door handle is hidden within that floating roof line. And I think that's kind of a cool design element. Rather than actually putting the door handle on the door itself, like on the front door, it's kind of up and to the back, the way almost within that C-pillar. So looks pretty darn good. And I like that they actually finished it body colored as opposed to like a matte black or something like that. So that is pretty cool. But take a look at the side mirrors. They are body colored, power adjustable side mirrors coming standard with integrated turn signals actually as well. Did take a look down at the wheel configuration. 18-inch alloy wheels do come standard across the board, and that is currently what you guys are looking at, and they look dang good on this thing with all season tires, of course. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile here. Let's now go ahead and make our way to the back. All right, now starting all the way to the top there, you will find a body colored shark fin antenna. Just below that, an insanely aggressive looking rear spoiler with an LED integrated brake light actually as well, or high mount stop lamp I should say. Just below that, a rear window wiper, some very aggressively C-shaped tail lights as well. Looks pretty darn good. Then just below it all, you will find a single exhaust outlet there tucked away on the passenger side underneath. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next. As always, here is that exhaust clip. All right, so but now since we are around to the back of the CHR, when it comes to opening that rear lift gate, it is a manual lift gate, so simply just lift up on the lift gate itself. Once opened up, cargo capacity comes in at 19.1 cubic feet behind that second row. If that was not enough space, there is a 60-40 split, meaning the rear seats do fold down, bumping that up to an even 37 cubic feet. Did want to mention that there's a lot going on in that cargo area, which is definitely a good thing, especially for the size of this vehicle. You of course got some cargo lighting back there, but you also got a couple grocery bag hooks, which again, I didn't expect to see at the size of a vehicle. You also have 4 tie-down anchors, chrome plated as well, so they definitely look good. There's a little bit of storage to the sides, and then of course you have a cargo cover back there, and if you were to lift up underneath of that cargo floor, you're actually going to find a spare tire, but there's also a little bit of in-floor storage as well. Not a ton, but a little bit, so I do want to mention that. But then make our way up to the rear legroom. 31.7 inches is what that number is going to come in at. For reference, I'm even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the back there. There is no rear center armrest with cup holders, unfortunately, no rear ventilation either, and no rear charging ports either, so it is a pretty basic rear seat, I'll just say that. Then make our way to the front seats. Manually adjustable cloth seating is going to come standard. However, I will say the seats are bolstered incredibly well. Definitely holds you in place around the turns very nicely. They're definitely a very sporty design, and I love the blue contrast stitching throughout the seats. Again, it ties in very well with our blue exterior and all the other blue accents, which again, I'll touch on in a second here, but also like the diamond cutout pattern found within the seats too. Makes it look a little bit more high-end, which I'm definitely a big fan of. So overall, seating was actually plenty comfortable. Definitely didn't have any issues when it comes to that. But take a look now at the steering wheel. It is tilt and telescoping, and it will actually come leather wrapped as well, which is pretty cool. Then make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You do have your Toyota CHR insignia on the one side. Then when you flip it over, pretty basic key, lock and unlock, but essentially it is all keyless entry with a push button start that comes standard. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the right of the gauges. And so once started up, tachometer is all the way to your left, speedometer is on your right, and there is a small digital display front and center to control what is on that digital display. There are some steering wheel mounted controls found on the right side of the steering wheel, giving you things like average miles per gallon, outside temperature, how many miles you have left until you hit empty, the list goes on. So pretty much G-force statistics actually as well. I just noticed that, digital speedometer. So pretty much everything you could possibly want up there. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality, because this is where it kind of surprised me, if I'm being honest. Dual zone climate control does come standard for all trims, so you don't always get that at this particular price point. So I love that, meaning both driver and passenger can set their own temperatures there. You will get a leather wrapped shift knob, which I was also a very big fan of. You don't always get that at this price point either. But what I love the most, let me first start with the ceiling of this thing. You have these indentations kind of in this diamond pattern to match the stitching found on the ceiling, kind of going back a little bit. I've never seen that before. I've never seen any other manufacturers do that. I thought that was a very nice added touch. You also have this kind of royal blue leather finish found just above the passenger side glove box that continues on just above the gauge cluster as well. And then of course you have the same exterior blue color found just above the infotainment screen, which also continues onto the doors. You got some gloss black accents, which is very easy to clean. I have that in my own car, so definitely a big fan of that. But the dark blue leather I was a huge fan of. The blue interior accents that match the exterior I was a huge fan of. And overall, the texturized finishes found on the doors were very nice to the touch as well. And again, the roof of this thing just threw me off. I've never seen that before. But anyways, just in front of the shifter, you will have one cup holder. You have a little bit of storage up there, USB charging port, electromechanical parking brake behind the shifter, yet another cup holder behind there. Within the center armrest, actually a decent amount of storage for a smaller vehicle. Any 12-volt power outlet you can find in there as well. So overall, although it's still on the basic side, I'm a huge fan of the interior quality just because of the uniqueness. It's doing something different. So definitely like that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to the infotainment screen. 8-inch color touchscreen display does come standard, Bluetooth and audio streaming as well, Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and of course you can check out your radio information up there. And so by the way, when it comes to the sound system, you will get a 6-speaker sound system that does come standard on this thing. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing today, and let's test out the clarity of this one.
But I'm gonna need your love. I'm gonna need your love.
If I'm being honest, one of the better 6-speaker sound systems I have heard. So the reason being is because clarity was 100% on point. Again, this is for a 6-speaker sound system I'm talking about. Bass was actually decent as well. So honestly, for a 6-speaker sound system, I mean, there are better sound systems out there, obviously, but for 6 speakers, that was pretty darn good. But anyways, last thing I want to mention to you guys on the infotainment screen is when you do put the CHR in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard, letting you know who or what is behind you, which is always going to lead us into safety. So first, let me start by mentioning IIHS top safety pick. That's incredible for the size of the vehicle, so I absolutely love that. Front side carrying airbags do come standard, driver's knee airbag as well, but also a front passenger seat cushion airbag. That almost never comes standard on other manufacturers, so a big fan of that. In the back, you're gonna have latch, aka lower anchors and tethers for children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard for both trim levels, Toyota Safety Sense 2.5, which will include a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, lane departure alert with steering assist, lane trace assist, automatic high beams, love that one, dynamic radar cruise control actually as well, and road sign assist, giving you the speed limit of any given road. But not only that, also a blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert. So all of that coming standard. Maybe that's why I got the top safety pick. I don't know. But overall, when it comes to my final thoughts of this thing, great exterior design. Not only that, if you look at consumer reports, this thing is insanely reliable. Maybe it's because it's a naturally aspirated engine. I don't know, but incredible reliability. And that's what Toyota's known for after all. Great safety. It's an IIHS top safety pick, so that pretty much speaks for itself. Amazing interior quality. This thing actually blew me away, especially for this price of a vehicle. There's so much uniqueness inside of the CHR, and I absolutely love it. Again, from the roof to the blue accents and all that. So big fan of that. And so, but that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Toyota at social media at the bottom of the screen. Go ahead and hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and everything else that goes on at the dealership. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know. We will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.